Our guest today went from Norwich University in Vermont to catching passes on the NFL's biggest stage. In 2013, he led the league in receptions with 113. Love when the numbers match up like that. Pierre Garcon is here. Pierre, how are you?
Doing well. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to talk with you. We have so much to pick your brain on. And if it's okay with you, we love to play silly games with our guests. So are you game to play our game?
I'm game. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. You seem, just by your enigmatic smile we're seeing, you seem like you like to have fun. So
yes.
I think this will be good. Let's get into your story a little bit. I mentioned you went to Norwich University, to Mount Union, to being drafted by the Colts. What do you think is the most surprising part of your football journey? Maybe not even that segment I just described.
The surprising part of the journey is that it actually, came full circle. That, played high school football, played college football, then got drafted and played in the NFL. That's, a story in itself of, accomplishment. And I'm happy I played 11 years, but, for it to actually happen, that's that's pretty special.
What was your college recruiting like then?
In college, the recruiting wasn't much. Our high school team wasn't that good, so we didn't really, have many scouts coming to our school. So it was hard, but I knew it's a football rule. Like if you make plays, you'll get seen. So we just had to make plays on the football field whenever we had an opportunity. But when your team is not that good, it's minimum. It's scarce. So who's going to come recruit? But I knew I had to go to college for football anyways. I didn't try that cycle all over again to try to make plays.
Do you remember your first NFL catch?
Oh yeah, I remember it all. I remember it all. My first NFL catch. It was like close to the end of the game where it was like garbage time. So it was one of those where like, hey, this is a 4-yard catch, and we're winning by a lot. I think it was like against Jacksonville or somebody, and it was against Pittsburgh. Just threw me in there just to get a catch.
It doesn't matter.
Get a hitch. Yeah. It was actually against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. It's just a hitch. A 5-yard catch.
We see so many players talk about their draft story and guys who fell in the draft then talk about how that fueled a whole career, right? I mean, you still hear Aaron Rodgers talk about that. Tom Brady talk about that. We had Austin Eckler on the show. Now he's top 10 in the NFL in rushing. He was undrafted, went to a D2 school, Western Colorado. His site on that was pretty interesting. I'm curious about yours. Did that stick with you in a good way or a negative way?
I think it helps because when you know where you come from, like being undrafted or a late round draft pick, you have to work for your job because you're a late round draft, you're not as valuable. But when you become, a first round pick, they're going to give you more leeway to prepare or to be well or to make more mistakes. But as a undrafted, every week, every day, there's someone new coming in, and they're always low draft picks or undrafted free agents in there. Everybody just fight for those last roster spots. So it kind of helped me and motivated me.
Yeah, in 2013, you led the NFL in catches. Did you go around just yelling at people saying, "I told you so, I told you so, I told you so"?
Nah, it was cool, but we weren't winning that many games that year too, so it was kind of like a sour taste because I'm trying to do everything, the team's trying to do everything. It's just the ball's not bouncing our way, but it's cool to have that stat, in my resume, so that I was like, hey, I did lead the league in catches. But going through it, it was kind of like, all right, I still got to do more.
Well, I'll tell you what, you didn't have to do more. I mean, it wasn't your fault. You did your job.
I tried, but we always take the win over anything else.
I hear you.
Yeah. I'm always curious when a guy who's either a low draft pick or undrafted goes to a team, a good team, stacked with future Hall of Famers like you were, Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Vinatieri.
Yes.
What was it like even being in the same room and meeting those guys?
It was the best thing that could ever happen because everybody that you're looking up to is right there. They're at your disposal. You just literally have to watch and listen to them and see how they do things. They're like, all right, cool. This is why you did that. This is how you do this. Perfect. Why would I even question you? You know exactly how to do it, and I want to do it exactly how you did it. So it was the perfect situation for me. I wasn't rushed to play it. I wasn't rushed to, perform. It was like, all right, watch these guys and take clues from them because, they know what they're doing. And that's what our position coach said. Hey, watch the older guys. Makes sense.
Well, you just said something really interesting that piqued my interest. You said I wasn't rushed to do anything. I know you played wide receiver, but when
Mhm.
you look at the quarterback position and
Yeah.
you see some rookies who
Yeah.
are rushed to
Yep.
start,
Yep.
not on a great team,
Mhm.
not even in a very stable organization,
Yes.
much worse position than you.
Yes.
What are your thoughts? I mean, I don't even have to
It's
name names for you to know
Yeah,
3 or 4 I'm talking about.
it's the change. It's how the game has changed now, where they want you to become NFL ready right out of college, and it's unfortunate what the day and age that we are in. But back then, first round picks, first two picks didn't really play until they were
Yeah.
prepared. But now it's like, hey, perform now because we have 5 years to 4 years to make a decision if we're gonna keep playing with you or not. So it's the change of the game, but the guys are rushing to situations, but they have to find leaderships in other places that can help them, play faster on the field.
So if you're a coach or GM, do you start a rookie quarterback unless they're just a prodigy, or do you give them a couple years?
It depends. Every person is different. Every individual is different because there's some guys coming from the pro system to the college system. Some guys are ready for it, but you're never really ready to start NFL games fresh rookie game. In the NFL,
Yeah.
like fresh out of college, you're not ready, but you can adapt a lot faster depending on the support system you have around you. So it's every quarterback is different.
Do you think recruiters sometimes miss talent like you, sometimes quarterbacks, because they're too into
Oh yeah.
they're too into like the prototypical 6'3" receiver, and they sort of miss the guy like you who's 6 foot, not the prototype, but still can crush it?
Yeah, they definitely miss, but it's a lot of things when recruiters are looking for players. It's there's hype, and then there's sometimes there's development. Some guys they develop later on in their career because once you understand it all clicks that you don't have to think, you just play and react. Because some guys are literally out there on the field and they're nervous, and these are guys that are in the NFL, not just high school or college players. So guys are getting missed, but once you get comfortable, once you understand the game, you can develop, you can perform as your natural talent because you're not overthinking. You're not, second guessing yourself. So recruiters miss guys, but it's up to the players to keep showing who they really are, and that takes time. And if that recruiter don't come to that one game that you're falling at, you kind of missed an opportunity.
Some guys who do get overlooked end up sending out their tape
Mhm.
themselves and kind of
Mhm.
being like an agent for themselves. Did
That's
you
that's
do
what
anything like that?
that's exactly what I did. So my Coach Candle, he's a head coach now at Toledo. He was my wide receiver coach at Mount Union. So at Vermont and Norwich, I played 1 year there, and I had a really good year. And I was like, man, I got to get out of here because football wasn't their main, thing. It was a military school. So I was like, what's the best school in Division III? Because I didn't want to go up because I had to sit out. So I made a copy of my highlight tape. I stick athletic tape on there and mailed it to Mount Union to Coach Karras, Larry Karras, and Coach Candle got back to me and said, "Hey, this is what you have to do if you want to transfer." And that's all she wrote. I did everything. I showed up for training camp, and that was the start of my Mount Union career. So I made my own highlight tape and sent it to the coach, and he's the head coach now at Toledo. And there's a lot of coaches from that tree of Mount Union now. Matt Campbell's the Iowa State coach, and
Yeah.
and Vince Karras. I think Vince Karras is at Toledo as well. So those guys, and Nick Sirianni, he's the Philadelphia Eagles coach, and he was my
Yeah.
position coach as well at Mount
Oh, was
Union.
he?
Yeah, Nick Sirianni. He played at Mount Union
Wow.
too. He's the Philadelphia head coach now. So
Yeah.
yeah, we we all kind of work together to help each other grow.
Did you
That's an awesome
did you
story.
put
Yeah.
did you put like some cool music on the highlight reel?
That crazy thing about it, I couldn't have because that was back then when VHSs were the thing. So it wasn't YouTube. It wasn't
Yeah.
where you can create your own. It was literally VHS, like stop, record, stop, record, stop, record. But the coaches understood it.
When you
Oh,
that's awesome. When you line up against a D-back, it's like it's a one-on-one experience. Are you guys talking to each other? Did you ever, try to use any psychological games, like start talking French to him, and he's like, "What did you say to me?" And then boom, you zip off.
You do have different strategies when it presents itself, but you don't come in thinking that you're going to trash talk unless you have a previous history with the person. But sometimes you just try to keep it clean, especially on the first quarter. You're like, all right, I'm just trying to do my job, But once the game starts going, third quarter, fourth quarter, and things are on the line, things get a little more chippy, and you man up and bow up a lot. So it close to the end of the game, it's like, hey, I don't really, I don't care who you are now. We're trying to win this game, so I have to block you hard. I block you hard. If I have to, I push you like whatever it takes, to get the extra edge that we need on the field.
Now, I don't know if you were much of a talker, but your game certainly was known to be tenacious, bulldog, fighter. We think of you with that style. So, who did you have beef with? Was there a defensive end who was all up in your face all the time?
We always talk to defensive players because they're trying to stop us. We're trying to go through them. So I always talk, but it didn't carry off the field. But it was mostly just to keep myself energetic and hyped because they hit us. We hit them, but we feel both sides feel it. But you can't show weakness on the field, so you have to always be tenacious and strong and hard.
So there wasn't a cornerback who you had their number or something?
I want to say I had all their numbers, but that's not true. So there's times where they have my numbers, and there's time where I get the best of them. But there's always guys that have good competition and give good competition. They play man to man too.
We've seen so many kickers miss extra points this season. I mean, last week, I don't know if that's ever happened in NFL history. You had Adam Vinatieri in Indy, but on other teams, to be honest, was there ever some guys that you just wanted to kick? You wanted to toss the kicker off the team bus?
Man, there were times where we were going through kickers, and it was tough because you don't know, and you think you can do the job because it's like, hey, all you just really do is kick, but apparently there's more to it than just that. So there were times where you get frustrated and you have no hope in your kicker, but when you do have Adam Vinatieri on your team, you have a 90% chance of making it. Like if he missed it, it's a rare thing that he missed. So I got lucky with that in my career. And when I was there, also Dustin Hopkins was on the Redskins, and he came in. And he made like 19 in a row when he first signed with us, and it was kind of cool. But there were times where we were like, we got to score a touchdown. we don't have a kicker. We don't trust our kicker. Not that we don't have it, we don't trust it.
You always have to have one. Giannis is so hung up on this. Every week, Giannis, you bring up the kicking situation.
I mean,
it's a point difference. You also got to thank Bill Belichick for getting the rule change where they have to move back, about 20-some yards to kick an extra point.
Yeah, I mean, all I know is if I played my heart out, put my health on the line, and then some guy comes on and misses it, I'll tell you what, the locker room's going to be awkward afterwards. He's at least going to have to hold my gear for a couple of weeks or something, do chores around my house. I'm telling you, I'm not letting him go easy.
They feel the tension. They feel it because they literally sit around practice and they kick for the beginning of practice and kick in the middle of practice, but after that they're just literally hanging out watching practice, and it doesn't always come down to one play, but you feel like it came down to one play.
Yeah, so do the fans.
Everybody, and they get it. They have a short leash too.
Oh man, I always feel bad for their families. Pierre, you said something interesting earlier about Nick Sirianni being your position coach. I didn't even realize that. But you've also worked with Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur. At the time, did you know that these guys would go on to become some of the top offensive minds in the NFL?
You don't think about it because it's such a long career where, guys bounce around. But I'm so happy that they became head coaches that we knew that they could become, and we're happy for them. I'm happy for them, and I couldn't say I knew 3 of my position coaches or 4 because we're gonna be NFL head coaches. I'd be guessing, I'd be like, I hope you guys do, but I can't guarantee it will happen. But I'm so happy that those guys are having those opportunities, and they're thriving in those opportunities too.
Okay, what did you think about the Shanahan-LaFleur drama? And it was capped off by an ice-cold drive-by handshake at the end of that game. Both of them.
Those guys, they'll be all right. Those guys will be all right. I didn't get to see all of it, but they'll be all right because those guys, they've been friends forever. So it's a little bit of TV drama, but Cal hates losing. I knew that for a fact. He might hate losing more than any coach that I've been around, and I'm the same way too. So I think that's why we gelled pretty well.
You know what, Pierre? I love the Washington football team. I like the name, okay, but they're looking for a name. What do you think they should name it to? You think they should name it? They should name the team something to honor the city, like maybe Washington lobby-owned senators or Washington $1 trillion debts, maybe illegal campaign donations.
Man, it's crazy. Like nothing's gonna hold on to the last name that they had, and it's so hard because nobody's gonna be happy with the new name. Even the Washington football team name now that some people are starting to get used to, and they're like, "Don't change it." So
Yeah.
I wouldn't even know what direction to start with picking that name because whatever you pick, it won't satisfy everybody.
How about the bipartisan hacks?
If they like it, I love it.
Oh, Giannis, I bet you have a long list of things you're not even saying for your name ideas.
I like the $1 million speeches to Wall Street after you leave office. I like that name. That could work. Or maybe the defense budget quadrupled while healthcare and public education gets slashed. That would be a good name.
There's a lot of issues in Washington. A lot of issues.
Yeah. Pierre, what is a name idea that you would have if they were to ask you?
You know, it's crazy. We were on a concentration
committee.
Yeah, a committee exactly for the name. And I had one a long time ago, and I totally forgot which one it was. But
you forgot it?
It's been that long.
Must have been good.
It's been that long, but it was something like I think like to do with, like you said, the army defense or protection of the city. Something I can't remember now off the top of the head, but it was so many different names that just none of them really stuck to me. And I when it doesn't stick, you don't remember it, which is the problem that we have now.
You played for Matt LaFleur. You were talking about him a little bit ago. He's got the top receiver in the league right now with Devontae Adams.
And the top quarterback.
Is he your favorite receiver to watch, or is there someone else you just love watching right now?
I like watching the guys that I play with because I can see their growth. But Devontae Adams is, he's amazing and he has a great quarterback and he is very, very good. I like watching. He's not getting the ball as much, but. Amari Cooper, he's very smooth, very, very good in his routes. DK Metcalf is very, very good for his size and his speed and quickness, and he's a beast, and he's playing like a beast, which is what we love. When you're big and you're playing big, definitely love that. Who else do I love watching? There's a lot of great guys. Of course, Tyreek Hill, when he's just exciting every time he gets the ball. He literally just can do anything on the field and leave the guys sitting still. So those guys are very, very good. And I enjoy watching because they bring excitement.
If you could play with any quarterback right now, current quarterback, who would you want to play with?
Of course, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. Yeah. Of course, those guys want to throw the ball. And that's how I got lucky with Peyton. Like, he wants to throw touchdown passes. He wants you to catch the ball. Like, that's the best thing for a receiver. Coming from a run first and then pass system, you're like, all right, let's hope we get to throw the ball. But playing with those guys, like, they want to throw the ball. So Tom Brady, Aaron, Peyton, those guys are the greatest receivers. The receivers on there are so super happy. They're happy to go to work.
Did you guys see Josh Allen jump over a defender last week?
I saw that. Josh Allen's very talented too. Josh Allen's a great quarterback, and Matthew Stafford. Those guys they throw the ball. They love to throw the ball. They throw it far.
I'm a Greek kid, right? So I've heard every joke about my name. My name's Giannis. I've heard Uranus. I've heard Poo. How many times have you heard the Garcon coffee joke?
A lot. The waiter, the coffee, the all of it. So yeah, it's a countless amount of times. I feel your pain. I feel your pain.
Yeah,
but it's memorable. They try to remember it, and they definitely haven't heard it before.
Now, here's the thing: a lot of people don't know about you. You own a pizza. You own a pizza place. You own a pizza shop. You're a pizza lover. So let me ask you this, right? Fuck, marry, kill. Fuck, marry, kill. New York style, Chicago style, Detroit style.
I don't even know what Detroit style is. I know Chicago. I know Chicago. I know New York. I like. What's funny? I do love deep dish pizza. I think that's Chicago, right? I think that's right. Chicago. So yeah. So to answer that question, deep dish, yeah, Chicago.
Wait, Giannis, what's Detroit style pizza?
They do it like they don't use mozzarella. They use like Wisconsin cheese, and they cook them individually in a pan. It's a little deep dish. They're kind of like squares, but they don't use mozzarella. So, which is like, if you're Italian, that's like, that's a disgrazia. So, have you ever, can you ever do, like, since you're Haitian, you ever make a suggestion like, yo, let's put some chicken Creole on this pizza?
I have. We put chicken on there, put barbecue sauce. We make it like a barbecue pizza. Try to switch it up, but they've Americanized it, but with a lot of spices. We make it a little Haitian style a little bit. But it was always fun to get creative in the kitchen.
Nice.
It was always fun. We had a lot of free time to get creative in the kitchen.
Nice.
How did you get in the pizza business?
Man, I had a friend. He runs a lot of restaurants in DC. I wanted to get into it because I wanted to learn more about business, and it was all about customer service and and enjoying the time with the fans. We definitely started up and had events at the restaurant where the fans came out and support, and it was another business opportunity I just wanted to take advantage of while I was in DC, and it worked out well for me. It's a tough business, but it was fun. I learned a lot.
Okay, well, before we get to our game, because our game's going to be really fun, but I'd be remiss not to ask you about Peyton Manning. Everyone always hears about how cerebral he is, the genius behind Peyton Manning.
Yes.
Do you have an example of maybe the first time you saw that flicker, or the first time you were like, oh my God, this is legit, this is what they're talking about?
Oh, I saw it a lot because my first year, like I said, I wasn't rushed to play, so I got to sit back and watch him and Reggie, him and Marvin, him and Gonzo, him and Dallas Clark and Jeff Saturday operate, and they literally made it look easy out there on the field. It was like practice, and I'm seeing Reggie catch the ball. They're all on the same page. They're reading hots. They're checking off blitzes, and it's like these defenders have no chance. It's like whatever the defenders do, we have an answer for it. Peyton has an answer for it. Reggie has an answer, and they're all on the same page, and they're making it look so easy. And you're like, wow, like these guys are really, really good. And then I see them in practice, and I'm like, these guys are not that special. But they're all on the same page because when you're younger, you're more physically, you got more energy, you're physically athletic. You just are not in the same mindset as those guys because they're in tune with each other. As a young guy, you're just out there running full speed. And when I came in, I was faster than those guys, but I wasn't making plays like those guys. So it was like, wow, these guys are just like amazing on game days. In practice, they're good too, but on game days, it's like, wow, they just don't mess up.
Yeah. Peyton was
what's
special.
Peyton like in the locker room? He seems like he has a good sense of humor. Is he loose?
He's a very, very good locker room coach and player because when it's moments where you got to get serious, he'll let you know like, hey, this is what we're working on. This is what you're seeing. What did you see? What do you think? Like he's gathering information so that he can make it easier on him and yourself. And when it's like free time, he's telling jokes. He remembers funny things on the field or, camera moments that not everybody catches on to. So, he's a human being and he gets down to serious business when it's time to be successful.
Have you been watching him with Eli on that broadcast?
I have not as much, but those guys are very, very funny. Those guys are very, very funny.
Hilarious.
I like to ask I'm a big Giant fan, so I just like to ask every guest we have when the opportunity comes up, if you had to pick one Manning in the playoffs, I'm saying when the chips are down and it means something, you taking your boy Peyton or you taking my boy Eli?
Man, that's a tough question. Eli has, 2 Super Bowl with one team, I think it is, and Peyton has 2 Super Bowl with 2 teams. But when it came down to the crunch time, I'm taking Peyton because he's made it to the Super Bowl. He's had a better regular season win percentage. So it came down to the wire more than Eli did because we all start off first quarter, second quarter, but the fourth quarter is where it comes down, and those game-winning drives is what keep you around forever. But Eli's not far off.
Yeah. Well, now that you said that, I just got to ask, in person, how big is Peyton's forehead? Is it as big as I?
It's big. It's big. And he's tall too. It's big.
I'm really glad you said forehead, Giannis.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because they're in the locker room. So now let's have some fun. Go ahead, Olivia. Tell them about the fun.
Pierre, throughout your NFL career, you made some great catches. But today, we're going to ask you a question, and there's going to be a catch. You'll have to decide if it's worth it, okay? You ready?
That's a great one.
We're calling it, Here's the Catch.
Mm-hmm.
Pierre, if you had a chance to win $1 million, right? But here's the catch. You had to fight J.J. Watt in a celebrity boxing match. Would you do it?
Oh man, I had to stay away. I have to get him tired because that's a big guy. That's a very, very big guy. Man, in the box, man, that guy's strong. He probably give me a body shot. And oh man, I'll pass. I like my body too much to get in the ring with JJ.
All right.
No. Weight advantage is too much already.
You got the speed though. I mean, you jab him up, keep him away with the jab.
And I'd have to tire him out. That'd be the only way. But if he connect,
yeah,
I'd feel sorry. Yeah, I'd feel sorry.
Okay, here's a good one. You get offered the wide receiver coach job, and it's guaranteed you're going to make more money than the head coach, right? Never been done before, but this is happening for you. Here's the catch. It's the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I do it. I do it because as a receiver, you think you can help anybody become a better receiver because you actually done it. And to coach, it's just communicate. So I definitely do it, and we can develop players. I'm a firm believer in developing players. We can develop players. I was developed, so I take that catch.
Yeah,
I take the.
We
job.
should have said, "Here's the catch. You have to babysit Urban Meyer when he goes out."
I'd be out with a reminder. I'd be soaking through it too, man. It's tough losing. It is tough. It is tough.
All right,
especially how they lost on.
No, I meant go out to the bars with Urban Meyer.
Yeah, he meant go out to the bars with Urban Meyer.
I'd be there too.
That's always risky. I mean, he's a risk. All right, here's one to find out if you are, if you're more emotional or if you're all business when it comes to that win. So here it is. Pierre, you could win your fantasy football league, but here's the catch. You have to draft players you absolutely can't stand, that you hate. Is it worth it for the win?
It's worth it for the win. It's worth it for that. I draft players that I draft JJ Watt on defense. I'm like, hey, go get the quarterback. Like, we need it. We need interceptions, guys. Go get interceptions. Go get the quarterback. So yeah, I definitely draft players that I don't like. Yes. There's not offensive players that I don't like, so that's easy for me. But yeah, defenders, we don't like them as much.
Right.
Okay, well, as we're approaching Thanksgiving, you get invited to the Manning house for Thanksgiving. But here's the catch. Every time you ask them to pass a side dish or something, someone yells, Omaha, Omaha, Omaha.
I'd fit right in. I'd fit right in. We had to get used to all those signs, so just different code words, so I can adjust quickly to that.
Okay.
All right, I got one. I know you love golf. You're a big-time golf lover. Here's the deal.
I'm working on it.
Yeah, you could be the best golfer on the planet, win every tournament, but here's the catch. You could never have played football. Would you do it?
You know what? There's more winnings in golf than there is in football. And you can play golf a lot longer. So if I had to start it back over and guarantee that I'd win, I'd be Tiger Woods. I'd definitely take Tiger Woods over a receiver.
That's a good call.
I'd definitely take Tiger Woods over a receiver.
I mean, golf is probably the safest sport. You can go the longest. And I always wondered when golfers retire, what do? Get a job? I mean, how do you retire from golf?
Yeah, that's a great one. They travel now. They play golf and travel.
Yeah, I mean,
well, that's what they do during their career. So yeah, I guess they don't retire. They just
it's weird. Like you retire from golf, you just go play more golf.
Okay, Pierre, you get traded to a team and a player has the uniform number that you want. He'll give it to you, but here's the catch. You have to personally wash his uniform after every practice and every game.
Nah. And that almost happened to me. They were like, hey, do you want to pay for it? I was like, I'll just make up a new number because I'm not that tied to it. Some guys are tied to it. It's their identity.
Yeah.
I wasn't tied to any number like that. So it was like a fresh start every new place that I went to.
Yeah. My husband plays basketball, and what he's done when that happens is he just adds his previous two numbers together.
Yeah, make up a new number. Yeah, he's only growing.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I think that's it, right? Oh,
that's
it, man. You were so much fun, Pierre. I just wanted to ask you one last question because I'm curious. This is just for me. What do you think's a more beautiful language, English or French?
French.
I agree.
French.
By far. Greek is great too. Spanish is, oh man, French is beautiful. Italian is very beautiful too as well.
Yeah, but French is just music. I wish I learned French just so I could use it for dirty talk.
I'm still learning French. It's a tough language to learn, but it's fun. It is very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, am I saying this right? Passez un bon semaine.
Oui,
Have
oui,
a good week.
Oui, un bon semaine, oui. Passez un bon semaine, yes. Merci, yes.
Merci, Pierre. Thank you
Merci.
so much for joining us. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, guys.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Au revoir.